So I was just thinking back about my transition from California to Oklahoma. So, being in the schmata business, I've always had some really great clothes, and being in the entertainment industry. And so I had the coolest outfit. Every once in a while, I'd have some friends that wanted to go to country and western club when I was living in California. And I'm going to tell you from the beginning that I don't think there's one dance floor in a club that I missed in the state of California, from San Francisco all the way to Tijuana, okay? To Tijuana, Mexico. Um, I used to go down there just to eat carnitas tacos and then drive back um, and go to a club. But uh, yeah, so uh, I had this great outfit, and it was these pants. You remember those pants that looked like they were like airbrushed on? And actually, people are starting to wear them now again. Um, these pants, they were like sewn like jeans. Okay, so you had the back pockets, the front pockets, the belt loops, and the zipper, and that, and it had like gold zipper. Okay, and then like some gold buttons, and they were the prettiest. Which I had them until they were stolen out of these storages that I had a few years ago. I've had them all these years, and they were they were hot pink fuchsia pearl looking pants. They had a pearl sheen to them, and man, they were real thick. Okay, real thick fabric, and they were not straight leg, but they were kind of bell bottomy. And hey, what's going on, Roxanne? And so they were just right. Now I used to wear them with 6.5-inch heels that laced around the ankle, and then I had the fronts of them were kind of like woven white leather little strips that kind of look like macrame across the foot and the front by the toes. Oh man, those are like my most favorite shoes. And because I have one foot that's a lot smaller than the other, I had to be like tied in because I couldn't wear a lot of shoes with a back on them because it would fall off the other foot. So these were great because they had the little back on it, but they were ankle wrap too, or I may have made them ankle wrap. I can't remember. But I would wear them with those, or until I located the greatest pair of white cowboy boots. I'm talking white, shiny white, beautiful cowboy boots with the riding heel, that slants forward a little bit. Oh, yeah, buddy. Now, I don't like cowboy boots like with a round toe, but I also don't like that super pointy, what they call winkle picker toe. In England, way back, like during Beatles era, they had winkle picker shoes. Were very fashionable, and it's in the men's shoes, and then also in women's. And what winkle picker means, they're like a little, like a crustacean, like a clam, and they would go out on the rocks at the ocean, and they use this tool that's kind of like a spoon and a screwdriver, and they would go out and pick those creatures out of the rocks, a winkle picker. And so the shoes kind of resembled that because they were real pointy and real long. Those shoes, like people are wearing them today. They're so ugly. You put these shoes on a size 7 foot and you look like you have size 12 feet. They're dumber than dirt. Okay? Real long pointy stuff in women's and men's. But they were very popular like in the Beatles era, where the guys wore those pencil pants, and then they'd wear those big long winkle picker shoes. That was a real big thing. But anyway, so I loved these pants. And then I took and I got gold studs All right. And I put like hearts all the way up the seams on the out seams, all the way up to the waist. And then I put uh like diamond shaped gold studs around the waistline area. And then I put like I think a gold star one on each of the back pockets, a little gold star one. They're like, like 1 inch studs. I don't like a lot of decoration on my pants because all my cars have always been quite nice, and it's really hard on the interior of your car to have stuff. If you have leather or if you have velour, it scratches at the interior of the car. So uh, these pants were righteous, okay, just righteous. I loved them, and then I had like a white tuxedo shirt with the ruffles. Okay, I had to go to a tuxedo shop to buy a shirt like that, kind of like Liberace style, with the ruffles all up the front, the ruffles at the edges of the sleeves. And then I went and I got rhinestone chains, okay, that comes on a big spool. And I hand sewed the rhinestone chain around the cuffs. 2 layers, one on the edge, one on the inside where the cuff meets the sleeve. And then I had rhinestone chains I sewed down the front, you know, like next to each ruffle from the top all the way to, the bottom. And I mean, it was styling and profiling, okay, to the max. Then I found this terrific cowboy hat at Venice Beach. They had them all different colors. I really thought this was really cool. And uh, it was like a see-through lacy look, but made out of polyester. Kind of a see-through lacy look, baby pink cowboy hat. Like, who has a baby pink cowboy hat, right? But this would go perfect with my hot pink fuchsia pants. And they were stretch pants, They're stretchy, really stretchy, real thick, stretchy, like a really thick spandex kind of fabric. Man, they were so pretty. And so I had all that. And then I went what we call the liquor store, the little corner markets that sell like, cans of soda pop, and then they sell liquor, and then they sell, like candies and stuff. Just a little corner mom and pop store, you know. We always called them liquor stores. And I went into this liquor store one day, and probably to buy a pack of cigarettes back then. And the guy had these beautiful, roach clip looking things. But now I was not a weed smoker. I hate weed, even to this day. I hate it. Um, but it was like a roach clip with leather, like 3 or 4 inches, and then it had a wood bead, and then it had a feather, a real pretty soft feather, and he had them all different colors. So every time I go to his store, I buy a new one. So I had a trail of these feathers, okay, and I hooked them together so that it was like a rope, and I would hook it to the back of my hat, so it was like a kitty cat tail that went off the hat, like almost to my waist. I have all these beautiful pink and white feathers. I think I even had a turquoise blue one on there, maybe. Um, but I thought that was great. Okay, I just thought that was so great. I had the white, the pink, the purple. Um, and so, I mean, and then I had all my turquoise jewelry, of course. That's a big thing. Turquoise jewelry, the necklace, the bracelets, all the big rings, and all that. Yeah, and, I mean, I was way off into that. The turquoise earrings. And so I was styling and profiling to the T. So, every once in a while, I'd have some banana head friend of mine to go, hey, if you like country and western music, and that's the last place I would rather be, is sitting in a club listening to country and western, crying into beer music, you know, while you left me, Lucille, with 1,000 cows in the field. Oh my gosh. Let's get happy. You know what I mean? So, thanks for thumbs up. So, anyway, but I had friends that liked places like that. But if I could get drunk enough, I could tolerate it. And they were having a really great time, you know? And because, I loved to party back in those days. I didn't have kids, you know? And so, life was a party. I worked hard and made great money. I could afford to go out to anywhere I wanted with all the finest places in California. My idea of living was going to the Hilton at the park at the top. Okay. And yes, I have drank $100 shot at the Hilton at the park at the top. Okay. But, you get these friends that like country and western and they want to talk you into it. Hey, let's go out, da, 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 da. And I drove a big Lincoln Continental back then. And my pride and joy, my big white Lincoln Continental with the white leather inside, the deep dish, 5-piece spoke rims. Oh my gosh, the Michelin XZX tires, yeah, buddy. And so I was dating Ronald back then, around that time. So anyway, but I was, kind of a free bird individual. It's like, if he didn't call or he wasn't around, and I got off work and I felt like going out, by God, I'm going out. Because I wasn't into chasing guys around. You're with me or you're not. You know what I mean? And he was a drinker. And he was very unpredictable as far as drinking and where he was going to be and all that kind of stuff. And he was flaky and he wasn't a cheater. He just was flaky. But anyway, we were together a lot of years. So anyway, uh, you know, I would get these friends that would con me into going out to these country and western places, and I put on my super cool, so western, like the outfit that everybody fell in love with. And when I walked in that door, they were like, "Whoa," you know what I mean? And you know, I couldn't even dance country and western. But I would go with them and act like I was having a great time or something. And I got so drunk at one club in California that I remember I was drinking. Somebody went to buy me beer. I said, "Ladies don't drink beer, and they don't wrap their lips around a beer bottle. That's nasty poo poo." And some joker bought me a beer. I think this place, it was in California. I'm trying to think. I think it was um, where the heck was that place? Long Beach or Torrance or something. Because I had to drive. And this guy we kind of all adopted, Uncle John. He used to work with Ron on the construction sites, and he was older, and he had that Elvis hair going on, and he was a little tiny guy. And he was funny as crap, and he's like, "Hey, you want to go to such and such? I love that place." I'm like, "Whatever you want to do." He said, "Will you drive?" And I'm like, "Sure," because you sure don't want to let him drive. He would get killed. I'm like, "Okay, I'll take you, Uncle John." And we drove down there in my Lincoln. We went in, and oh my God, the dance floor looked like you could herd cattle on it. Okay, it had like all this wood around it, like like what do you call that? Where they put like a horse pen or something. Yeah, it was like that all around that dance floor, big dance floor, like almost like an ice skating rink, and it was just full of smoke and people and and really sad music. Okay, even the happy music was sad, and I was like, "What the hell have I got myself into?" And I couldn't leave him there or anything. You couldn't do the two Larry drop on somebody like that. So I'm sitting here going, "Oh man, I'm just so at the wrong place at the wrong time." And like I could be at so many other. I could be at the Bonaventure Hotel, dancing on the dance floor over there. I could be doing so many different things. I could be down at Venice Beach. I could be at Santa Monica on Main Street, and park the car and go to club after club after club, and just have a blast, man, and see people I know, you know. So he's having a great time. Oh, he's talking to these people, that people. And I remember sitting by the dance floor watching these people. They're dancing backwards. Okay. And I'm looking at this, and I'm about 2 sheets in the wind. And I'm studying this. And, the outfits are great. The embroidered Western shirts on the men and the women, and the little skirts, and, the young people, the older people. It's just adorable. And the pretty hats and all that. And it was just really kind of impressive. But you sit there and you go, man, if I had to dance backwards with a guy, I have trouble walking forwards. Okay, take me out of heels and I fall down. So flat shoes are really terrible with me, and so I can only walk in heels. And so, um, you know, it was so funny because I'm sitting here studying this and I'm just like 2 sheets in the wind. I have got a cigarette in one hand, cigar in the other, because somebody offered me a damn cigar. Next thing you know, I'm smoking a cigar, and God, that was terrible. And I had a beer in one hand, and I think a wine in the other, because I think that place didn't have liquor, and I was a liquor drinker. And absolutely not a beer drinker. No. Laundry soap water, no. I want nothing to do with laundry soap water in a bottle. Forget it. I don't care what the brand is. I don't care where it came from. Just forget it. No. So anyway, I'm sitting there and I'm just like going, well, I just get jacked up here and watch this show, how these people are dancing backwards. But at least I looked like $1,000,000. I got lots of compliments on my outfit, of course, because I always style and profile. And finally, got to take him home, which was like right around closing, 2 a.m. in California. All the clubs generally close at 2 a.m. unless you're in San Francisco with a cop sitting at the bar. Then they can just kind of do anything they want as long as they're serving the cop. But anyway, so yeah. And I went, boy, I hope I don't get talked into this cockeyed again. Well, then, Ronald was talking. He went down to go see some friends of ours that he's known since he was a kid back in Massachusetts, North Dartmouth and New Bedford. And uh, this guy and his wife had a couple of hair salons in Orange County. And so I guess one night he went down there with them and went to this place called Cowboys. I don't even know if this place still exists. And I really think that it was the old Hippodrome uh, ice skating rink or roller rink that was down there that they remade into that club. And this club was so damn big in Orange County. It was amazing. But he went with his friends and he would brag about it. Oh, that Cowboys, boy, that's some kind of club. Oh my gosh, that Cowboys. And I'm like, that must have been some kind of girl down there because it's not like he invited me to go to their house. And I'd been to their house before. And it's way down in Orange County. So I thought, I got jacked up one night and I said, I think I'm gonna go down and drive all the way to Orange County. I used to drive all over the state. I might want spaghetti at the Gold Mirror in San Francisco, come 2 o'clock in the afternoon and say, I'd just get in the car, I'd just drive up to San Francisco and go eat some. I didn't care. So one night I was jacked and I said, I think, it was afternoon I went down there. In the afternoon, I said, I'm going down there to Orange County and I'm going to go see what this Cowboys place is. Is this a strip joint? What's the deal? So I drove down there in the afternoon and it's got a huge parking lot all the way around. And I'm swearing it's this old ice skating or roller rink, that was 30 years ago when I was a kid, that they remade into this place. And it's got the big, glorious sign, Cowboys, and all that. And I said, man, it's kind of a big place here. And I go in the door, and I think it was like 4 in the afternoon or something. And I'm walking around, and I'm like, walking into this room, and then there's another room. I walk over through there, and there's another room, and I walk over there. And it was just like all these separate dance floors and rooms throughout this huge building. And I said, why do you have so many rooms like that? Why isn't it just like a big, large joint, like an arena? And they said, oh, well, because we have different music we play in each of the rooms. So, like, they played, like the disco stuff in one, and country western in another, and, like Margaritaville kind of thing in the other. And, it was kind of a variety. And then I think that another room was like rock and roll, maybe, which is an interesting theory. They had a really great gift shop. Wow, was that neato. They had the gold spurs you could put on your boots, and they had rhinestone jewelry and blinking jewelry that was little cowboy boots, and they had the neatest stuff, and they had the shirts and the pants and all the coolest southern wear, the hats, and amazing. Really nicely done place, very classy. But there was nothing happening because it was 4 in the afternoon. You know what I mean? And I wanted to see what they did, if they did like shows, or I wanted to see if they had like professional dancers coming in there, if they were teaching dance, or what was exactly going on. If it was like as absolutely totally boring as that other joint I went to with Uncle John. And so I stayed about an hour. I had 2 cocktails, got in the car, and left, and drove back to Santa Monica or Beverly Hills or wherever I was going to that day. And so I said, man, that's some kind of joint there. I would really like to go to that when it's hopping. Never did get to, but mostly because I just don't like country western crying in your beer music. So I had a little girl, and my daddy talked me into going to Oklahoma to help my aunt Roseanne, his sister, with her businesses and properties, be a manager to the apartment complex, and go work in her abstract business, and which I didn't know what abstract was. We don't have abstracts in California. You want to buy a house, you got money, or you can get a bank to sign a loan to you, then you get a receipt that says you own a house. Well, when you get to the southern states, it's a whole nother ballgame. They have a thing that's like the Bible history book of the land. And it has every transaction, every relative that signed onto it, every death certificate, all kinds of crap that pertains to the transfer of that land every time there's a transfer. And they're really kind of interesting, actually, if you start reading through them, because the wills are included with people that have willed the land off and all that, and it's just a southern thing. And that's what you did, abstract and title work. And it's sort of like cars and titles. It's just kind of a different thing. And so, and I'm game to learn new stuff. I've always been like that. So, anyway, my friends in Oklahoma, I had a brand new baby, and I wasn't doing the going out thing because I had a child. And no, babysitters were not hard to find. Everybody loved children, and I knew people. And so my friend Linda at the beauty college, because I had to transfer my hair license from California to Oklahoma. And so they deducted hours from the California State Board, and then when it transferred into Oklahoma, they deducted hours again. So I literally had to go back to a college to get the full hours for the state in order to transfer my flipping hair license. You believe that? So there was a girl that was there at the beauty college. She'd let her license expire, and she was a little older than me, and actually a lot older than me. And she said, yeah, the biggest mistake I made was not paying the renewal on my hair license, and now I need it because I'm doing dead bodies, and I've got to have a license to touch a body, and I make really good money doing it. And I said, ooh, wow, how can you do that? Well, anyway, Linda and I were good friends. She was a funny cat, very country, but educated country and stuff like that. She's a really nice lady, and she was just a crack up. And she accepted me for being the California person, the freak from California, because they just are not used to all that out there. And don't think when you go to the South that all the dudes are wearing cowboy hats and you know they're they're all the Marlboro man, because they're not. Trust me, they're not. Especially in Oklahoma. When you say the word Oklahoma, I'm telling you, it's not Texas or anything else. It's just Oklahoma. It's a different way of life. So she says, "Hey," she says, "you want to go out?" And I said, "No, I don't do that anymore. I'm a single parent, and it's not appropriate." And she's like, "Well, you got to get out sometime." And I said, "Well, and I don't drink anymore." And I had spent too many years throwing up blood. And when I quit drinking, it stopped. So I thought, well, this is a good idea. Um, and plus I had a kid. That's when you're grown up now and it's time to be serious in life. You take that responsibility. You know. So I did. So anyway, she says, yeah, we can go out. So if I go out, the only thing I'm drinking is Coke. So my old party friends back in California just really cut me loose years ago because they said I was a dud because I didn't drink anymore. And it's like, well, if you can't accept me for me, then the hell with you. You didn't like me to begin with. That was all fake friendship. So, and I'm still proud of that to this day. So, anyway, she says, look, everybody's going, and my brother's going, and my uncle going. You should go to this place. It's a nice place. And I said, okay. And I said, what kind of place is it? Like, what kind of music? And she's like, country and western. I went, oh, Jesus. you know, Here's my greatest enemy, country and western. Okay. The only country and western I is you know, it's like bluegrass. With the guy with the fiddle, the guy with the harmonica, all that cool stuff. Like really serious, happy bluegrass. I think that's really neat. But all this other stuff, forget it. And it's just too sad. I can't do all that crying in your beer stuff. Life's too short, man. Keep it happy. Whoa. So, anyway, I said, I don't know if they play all that crying and beer music, I'm just, will vomit. And so they don't have like a good dance place or piano bar or something, Nope. I said, okay, you gotta go. You gotta go. And my grandma will watch your kid or whatever. And I'm like, okay, I'll go for a little bit. We'll just go for an hour or two. That's it. She says, well, now have food there too. I said, well, okay, that's an excuse. There's dinner. I'm like, I can't bring my kids. She's like, well, no. I said, okay. So I made her down there and everything. We took separate cars because that's a number one rule. Don't ever forget that lesson. Always bring your own car. Always. Because something's going to happen and you want to leave. So, anyway, we went to this big place real early, okay? In the daytime. It was still daytime. And it was like, I don't know, probably 50 big long tables, okay? All around. And yes, they had that red and white gingham tablecloth thing, like you see in the movies. And I think it had like benches for seats or something. And so, I got all dolled up. I put on my cool pink hat with the feathers going down the back and the cool, like, hat band that I made and my hot pink fuchsia cowboy pants and my Liberace style tuxedo shirt with the rhinestones on it. Oh my gosh. And my white cowboy boots, buddy. Buddy. And do you know? I walked in that building and people just turned their heads, right? I went over and I saw Linda sat down at the table. She had like 15 friends and family at that table, and she introduced me to them and everything. And I sat down and real quiet. And because Southern people are really interesting. We don't have a lot of those in California. There's a lot of variety, but you rarely run across someone that talks real Southern, and it's really entertaining because they talk so funny, right? And you listen to them because it's amazing how they talk. And so, anyway, I'm just listening to all these Southern people and looking at their attire and stuff, and uh, and I'm like totally different. Okay, you don't see a lot of cowboy hats there. I figured it'd be all like cowboy people there. No, very few cowboy hats. A lot of cowboy boots though. Lee jeans. The guys and the girls all wear Lee jeans. It's the big style. And in California, it was Levi's, man, button up 501s. That was supposed to be the thing if you were wearing jeans. Other than the styly jeans that came out by all the big jean manufacturers and stuff, where they laced up the sides and they zipped all the way around or had double zipper jeans. I love double zipper jeans. Bell bottoms, window pane jeans, cutout jeans, tie dye jeans. There's jeans, jeans, and jeans. And so, but if you were doing the Southern thing, you didn't wear all those weird jeans. You wore just Southern bell bottom jeans, and cowboy boots. And the one with the best cowboy boots wins. So at least they could style cowboy boots. But most guys didn't have real styly boots, like the Tony Llamas and that. That was real rare. It was mostly the cowboy boots they wear every day, and they're shoveling crap out of the damn pig pen or the cow fields or whatever, you know what I mean? Going fishing in them, whatever. They actually used those cowboy boots. They weren't for show. So, anyway, we're sitting there, and they serve beer. Beer. And I'm like, oh, God. I said, just Coke, because I quit drinking anyway. So, anyway, I'm like, this ought to be interesting. So, and I couldn't wait to leave. God, I couldn't wait to leave. Because that music, ugh. So, and I'm trying to remember if they had a live band or it was just canned music. I'm thinking it was canned music. But, I mean, the people were happy and nice, and the conversations were interesting, and there was tons of people there. Place filled up. There was hundreds of people there. The food was great. The Coke was awesome. And, and so, anyway, I was sitting next to Linda, the whole night. And she says, so what is this outfit you got? I'm like, oh, hey, I put the studs on this, and I put the rhinestones on the shirt, and this is a tuxedo shirt, you know, and the hat, I told her a story about the hat and the cool feathers on the back, and and she just smiles, and I said, what? I said, you don't like it? She said, well, it's a little bit different. And I said, oh, yeah, I mean, I would always dress my best. And she's like, well, she says, I don't know, y'all are funny in California. And I said, you think my outfit's funny? And she says, well, it's different. And I said, okay. And so then this guy leans over and he says, I can shape that hat for you, ma'am. And I said, what do you mean? He said, well, I ain't got no shape. And I looked at Linda, I said, what's he talking about? She says, well, when you buy a cowboy hat, you're supposed to shape it, for your head and stuff. And it has to have a little bend to it and all that. And I said, well, I don't know. And so I end up handing my hat to this gentleman, and he's working on this hat for about an hour, right? And I'm sitting there going, God, this guy's so jacked up, and what's he doing to my hat? And he's like rolling it and dragging it across the table and trying to put some curves on it and tilt the front, tilt the back, and roll it and curve it and do all this stuff. And so he goes to give it back to me a couple times, see how it looks, and does some little more rolling and curving. gives it back to me. He says, "Now that's a hat." And so then this other character that was sitting at the table about an hour later, he said, "What did you let him do that to your hat for?" He said, "It looks like a dope roper hat." And I said, "A dope roper hat?" I said, "Man, you know." And I was so mad the rest of the night. I'm like, great, now they're going to ID me as a dope head, right? Well, I found out later when I used to tell people, I said, yeah, it looks like a dope roper hat when I'd see somebody's hat and it looked really funny. And they'd laugh. And they said, what are you saying? I said, dope roper hat. I said, I learned that at this club I went to when I first came to Oklahoma. They said, it's not dope roper hat, it's goat roper hat. I said, goat roper hats look like they're all jacked up. They don't know how to shape a hat. And I said, oh, I always thought it was dope roper. So, so yeah. And so the next time I saw Linda at the beauty college, you know, and the next day we were talking, and she said, well, you sure had an interesting outfit. And I said, oh yeah, I love that outfit. I mean, that is just it, man. When I go to clubs in California, man, turning heads. And I just adore that outfit. And she said, well, she says, why don't you dress like, you know, everybody else? I said, well, I'm not wearing that little German looking dress thing that some of the women wear when they're dancing country and western. You ever seen that? That is so ugly. I hate it. And it'll be like a frou-frou skirt thing going on there, you know, with the petticoat going on. I think those look so dumb. And then they dance backwards. They dance backwards in a circle all night long. The guy is holding them like a couple dance, but the girl's always going backwards the whole night. What kind of dance is that? You know? So anyway, and she's like, well, you'll learn. And she says, you don't have to wear all that fancy stuff going out around here. And I said, but I couldn't go unless I was dressed. She said, this is Oklahoma. And I said, she said, it don't make a difference. If you want to just be casual, you can just be plain. You don't have to wear Western clothes. I said, oh, well, I figured because it's Oklahoma and it's a southern place that everybody is like always wearing the embroidered Western shirts and the pearl buttons and, you know, the bow tie thing, whatever it is, and you know, the big beaver hats and, you know, $3,000 cowboy boots, you know, from Tony Lama, you know, and that kind of stuff. And brand new, fresh, crisp blue jeans that look almost black. You know what I mean? Where you press them with starch so they could stand up by themselves on the floor. Literally, I used to do that. You could literally stand your pants up on the floor after you put enough starch on them and pressed them. Those were pants, buddy. And she was like, well, you'll see. So then I got to be friends with these people called the Browns. They burned me for over 30K years ago. They stole my money. And I had a lawsuit. And they were like, you know, don't put it in the bank because your Aunt Rosanna find out you have it because the bank will tell her. And I'm like, why would a bank tell somebody how much money I have? You know, that's just bullcrap. And so I trusted these people and they stole all of about 2,000 of it. It's pretty bad. But anyway, so my friends the Browns, they thought I was a crack up because I was from California and I was so different. And I'd come out there with all my fur coat collection that I wore all the time, my floor length mink, my white jacket, all that stuff. It was so funny. And so I was telling them about, you know, going to that place. And tell them about my outfit and everything. And they said, that outfit sounds damned interesting, but, you know, you ought to just dress normal. So I don't dress normal, never have. And uh, I said, like, what is a good thing to wear to a club like that? And he looks over and says, exactly what my wife is wearing. And now let me tell you what his wife was wearing. And this is what these people wear out there, okay? She had Lee jeans on, and they were bell-bottomy, kind of jeans, you know. She had cowboy boots on, just some plain brown cowboy boots with a riding heel and a little bit pointed toe, but not the winkle picker. But she wore those every single day. Okay, I mean they were worn. You know what I mean? Like broken, like worn, because they wear them like shoes. They're every day. Where I would have 400 pairs of shoes and boots, and my stuff always looks brand new. But she wore this like every day. Or they would wear these shoes. These shoes like my mother probably used to wear with no socks and play tennis. You ever see, they still make them today. They're so gross. Those little canvas tennis shoes. They're not Vans. They're not Vanigans. They're little pointed tennis shoes. These suckers are like $5 a pair, probably even today. They might even be $2 a pair today. I don't know. They're super ugly. And they're just, they don't even have tread on the bottom. Okay? They just have a little rubber on there, you know? And they got a little white edge that's rubber, and then the rest is white canvas, and then they lace up and they're pointy. Okay? Yeah. That's their idea of tennis shoes. That's styling and profiling. Oh, I hate those shoes. I hate them. Okay, and that, they make them in different colors. Like you get pink today, you get pink, black, burgundy, all that. But the white was the one, the white. And then the next one is okay. So we got the Lee jeans or the cowboy boots, the little white pointed tennis shoes, and the next part was the Pendleton dude shirt. You know, the big, thick, like woolen looking thing with the plaid going on, like red and black, long sleeve. Okay? That may or may not have the pearl buttons. You know, the button up jobber with the collar. You know, that looks like the blanket from your mother's couch. You know, when you're watching TV kind of thing. Oh my God. That's what the women wore out there day and night. And I was like, I will never wear clothes like that. It's not happening. No, 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 no. I'm not wearing those little white pointed tennis shoes. They're so ugly. Uh, they're like those tennis shoes. What was that? That dance movie with the guy that died that was really good dancer, and his mother was a pro dancer too. Um, oh, I've seen that movie a bazillion times. I can't think of it. And the girl and the guy were dancing across the log over the river, and then she had those little white pointed tennis shoes with no socks. Those shoes. Oh, I hate those shoes. I don't like cheap tennis shoes. Yeah, never in your life would you get me in an outfit like that. No, sir. Especially that dude Pendleton shirt that guys wear, you know, to go hunting or something. No, hell no. Yeah. So, you know, I knew that life wasn't for me. It was sort of like Green Acres, you know. But, oh, that was so funny. But yeah, I thought I was styling and profiling. California had the best outfit for cities around. Just tops, man. And then I went to Oklahoma and wore it, and they just thought I was really wild. They probably thought I was going up on stage, you know what I mean? Because I was going to be the entertainer for the evening. So funny. So yeah, sometimes you just don't fit in. Yeah. So many clothes I had from California that I could never wear in Oklahoma. I still wore heels and shorts and short skirts and heels. I my white Marilyn Monroe heels, you know. I just man, they're like tennis shoes to me. Those are like my favorite shoes. Always keep a spare pair in the trunk, and you always be styling. You know, you're ready to go out. You know what I mean? Dress up any outfit. But yeah, oh my gosh, how funny. Yep, true story. Very true story. Too funny. So if you think that the South is like all that stuff in the movies and everything else, it's not. I I think in Oklahoma, I think I probably saw a total of like three dudes wearing cowboy hats. when all you think is it's like sugar beets, tumbleweed, cowboy hats on girls and dudes, and 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 all the guys are supposed to look like Marlboro Man. Remember that guy? It was on all the ads for Marlboro Man, and everybody's like, "Yeah, he's fine." And they'd shoot the picture real dark so you could barely see his face or eyes, And you go, "Yeah, none of those dudes look like that out there." And it's so cold out there, Mother of God. In the winter, it is so cold that all you see is big parka jackets, and then both girls and guys wear those Pendletons, and everybody wears Lee James. Yeah, they asked me one time when I had my salon. The girl said, "So what's your idea of a great guy?" Because I obviously hadn't found one yet, because you know, and I was busy raising my kid anyway. And I said, "Look, a guy that wears really nice dress slacks, tassels on his shoes, nice dress shirt, kind of buttoned a little bit there, nice bracelet, nice watch, nice gold chain, you know, real pretty hair." And they went, "Well, not here." I said, "Well, then I guess I'll be single." Not a problem. And and then the girl says to me, "Can you make biscuits and gravy?" I said, "Well, I tried that when I first moved here." I said, and like my biscuits were like hockey pucks, and my gravy was like wallpaper paste. So yeah, no KFC style here. And she said, "Well, too bad, because you ain't gonna get no man if you can't make biscuits and gravy." And I was like, "All right, I'm not stressing to learn how to make it either." I cook more elegant food. And I don't cook Southern. I was not raised with Southern food. Although my father's Southern, you wouldn't know it. He isn't talk Southern, and he's never eaten Southern food. I did introduce it to him one time out by Memphis, and he thought that was interesting. Um, so obviously he didn't eat that kind of stuff when he grew up. Um, but yeah. So I was thinking about that story earlier, and I said, I really need to tell people that on YouTube. But yeah, when you make a transition from California, Southern California, okay, to Oklahoma, way out in the dirt. That place is built up since. I mean, I drove past it one time and I said, "God, I wonder where it went." And it was so built up, it was like a big city when there was only like 5 businesses there or something back then. I'm like, "How did I miss that Dust Bowl?" They're like, "You passed it. It's back there about 15 miles down." And I said, "Really?" I said, "I can't believe I missed that place because it was deader than a doornail." Pryor Creek, Oklahoma, Mays County. That's right. Oh boy. But anyway, I thought I'd tell you guys that story. Yeah, that's right. No Marlboro Man, no cowboy hats. Yeah, and girls drive trucks. That was really funny. Girls drive big trucks. Girls have trucks that are better than dudes, okay? But they drive trucks. That was so weird. So weird. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys later. I love you. And do something kind for a stranger. And I will see you in the next one. Love you.